Hey everyone, Kyle once again, aka Jurassic Godzilla fan. Um, now, since I reviewed one of the classic horror films of all time, and now I'm reviewing the sequel, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. This is the gruesome edition. Has more features. Once again directed by Tobe Hooper, who directed the original, the first one. Um, and this one I really enjoy. This one I filmed like really fun sequel, a really great one, because one of my favorite actors who's now no longer with us is actor Dennis Hopper. He stars in this. Dennis Hopper is who I really miss. He's one of my favorite actors. He's one of my favorite actors of all time, and I really miss him. Great films. He played one of the best bad guys in his career was in Speed. Other films he started and directed Easy Rider. He appeared in George A. Romero's Land of the Dead. And his last film that he did. I know he's been in other films. I'm just naming the films I really did like him in. Even his last film was an animated film, which I have the poster right there. I'll show you. Alpha and Omega. That was the last film. That was the last film that Dennis Hopper did before he died. Which was Alpha and Omega. So yeah, let's point that out. I miss Dennis Hopper because his last film was an animated film, which I really did like his voice in Alpha and Omega. Oh, that darn disc in my back. Anyway, so he stars in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Also another original cast member from the original comes back. Jim Siedow as the cook. He comes back in this as the cook. And also the film stars Carolyn Williams and also Bill Moseley as Chop Top. Carolyn Williams as the main character, Stretch. And Bill Johnson replaces Gunnar Hansen this time as Leatherface. After 10 years, after a decade of hiding, the buzz is back. I like that tagline. So the film takes place in 1986, 13 years after the events of the first film. So with the opening of these two guys are driving, they're on their way to football game, driving all the way through Texas. One guy with those colorful animal eye glasses. He's just shooting things, shooting signs and mailboxes. Laughing. Then they hear Carolyn Williams over the radio. They have fun by just calling, teasing, over the phone. Then because the custom driving at night, they call her. Well, early in the film, they almost nearly cut off a truck that they're fooling around with. But later at night, when they were called Stretch back again, make more fun of her. The same truck stops them at the bridge, and they try to drive off, but then the truck is like pretty much at the same speed as they are, driving in reverse, and they see some freaky dude in. Well, it's a dead body though. It's a guy in an army uniform, and Leatherface. You don't see it, but Leatherface is using him as a puppet, using the chainsaw. Cut their car up. The guy with the gun, he shoots the dead body's head, and you see Leatherface's face, and he's screaming. Arr! They just Carolyn Williams is hearing this over the phone, and her partner is also hearing it. It's like a buzzsaw, and well, they managed to lose him, but to the guy with the gun, he sees that his friend's Willie screams that part of it cut like this, cut part of his head. This much is his head is pretty much gone. Cut his head like that much off. That part of his head was just cut off. Just like streaming blood, and then they crashed over the phone. That was a cool death. It was like that part of the guy's head just got cut off. And then of course the day is light, and then we have Dennis Hopper, right there. It is funny thing is every time I see Dennis Hopper, I just miss him. It's like, man, he's sad. He's no longer with us. May he rest in peace. His name was Lefty, and he was like the uncle of the two main characters in the first film of Sally and Franklin. Yeah, he was like the uncle, and he's been searching for over a decade. He's been searching for Leatherface and his family. To find out who did this to his niece and nephew. There's some person who draws up, he's ask him, you can tell me you need to get out of here, but it's like, don't talk too fast. Saves time. But Carolyn Williams, she goes to visit Lefty, telling him that she recorded the audio tape. She saved the audio tape to ask her if you can use this as evidence, but he turns her down originally. But then also they go back to her friend at her friend. They're at the chili cook-off, and they just awarded for who had the best chili. Of course, it was the cook. It's like, what's their secret ingredient? Oh, it's in the meat. It's all in the meat. Indicating, they use human stuff for in his so-called secret ingredient in his chili. But in Dennis Hopper, he goes to this chainsaw store. He buys a few chainsaws, a large big one, two small ones, and the guy's asking him to say the store owner, shopkeeper. He says there's gas and you want to test them out. He goes and tests them on this log. He's like just like pounding the large chainsaw on the log. Like what Leatherface would do. Then he goes back to Stretch, tells her he needs her, and tells her to play that tape, all over and over again. So the cook is driving his his little restaurant on wheels. I forgot what they're called. I forget what kind of cars those are called. Like a to-go vehicle. I don't know I forget how it's called. And one of his members is calling him. There's something on the radio. He hears it. Tells him to go to the station and stop whoever's doing that. Which you get later at night. You have Bill Moseley as Chop Top. Comes in, tells it, but Carolyn Williams, oh, I like music, I like music. Got any records in there, And then when she turns on the lights, then all of a sudden Leatherface just comes charging in with a chainsaw and accidentally cuts well, he didn't cut Chop Top's head because he had a metal plate in his head, like, oh, well, you dented my plate, And she heads into the storage room, and first he crashes through the wall. Well, before her friend, comes back, and he gets attacked. Then Chop Top starts hitting him over the head lots of times with a hammer, and then Leatherface crashes through the wall and just stares at her, a long time, like she's like this. looking at her, and then also goes crazy again, starts cutting everything up. And they take her friend's body with them back to their place, and she follows them. And where they live is like this big abandoned fun house. This a big abandoned fun house. She falls in because Lefty try to kill her, but she falls through anyway. Trying to find another way out, and then the Dennis Hopper, he gears up, you know, like, Lord, what would he say? Lord, Australia, help me take down this person. I don't know what he says, but he starts just running in, and I was like, ah! So he wants to cut everything up, you know. I'm taking this place down. And there's lots of good gore in it too, because he sees some blood on the wall, and he kicks it, and all of a sudden a hole bursts through the wall, and all this cut up pieces of guts are spewing out of all over the floor, you know. Ugh. But that was a good gore effect, and all just like this small little waterfall of just chopped up piece of guts are just spewing all over the floor. Then he just starts yelling, ah! Then I'm gonna take it. He starts cutting all the beams down and wants to take the whole place down, you know. Like even as he keeps on going on, you know, he sees the skeletal remains of Franklin from the first film, you know, and his skeleton sitting in the wheelchair, still holding the flashlight he had in the first film, you know, when they were searching for their friends, you know, he was holding the flashlight. He still had it holding his hand, like, Franklin. He turns the flashlight on, it was still working, but then it just fades away, dead. He says, don't cry. I'm here now, you know. I'm here now, and it starts tearing more more of the place apart. And then Karen Williams, she finds out, but she gets caught by Leatherface, you know, because he cuts off her friend's face off. And it's like he kind of likes Carolyn Williams, so he sort of like puts the face on her and the hat, maybe trying to make her dance, you know. But she's like getting more scared and afraid though. But then as he goes away, her friend is still alive, and at the days of his last words, like, ah, shit, and then he dies, and then she's crying and puts his face back on him and puts his hat there, you know, tells that she loves him, you know. But then as it goes on, you know, they're like their dinner room, you know. She gets caught again and just gets the same thing up as the original film, the dinner scene, you know, sitting in front of the table. And the same thing they're doing the same thing with Grandpa, you know, get the hammer and hit her again. And then Dennis Hopper comes in. The cook, he's like, you know, so try to bribe him, you know, like, let's make a deal, you know, I got money here, you know. But Dennis Hopper sees Carol Williams, so he's like, sister, and then just goes and cuts the cook's rear end, like, ah, it's like, my businessman always gets it in the ass. And then he frees Carol Williams, tells her to run, and he gets into the fight with the Leatherface. I like to say, like, Dennis Hopper fighting Leatherface. That was a good fight, you know. He starts fights him, and starts fighting him on top of the table. Then he stabs a large chainsaw into him, you know. It's going right through, like, screaming, ah! And it's like you see it like it's, you know, like sort of like his guts are like hanging out of his stomach as he's pushing the chainsaw into him. Then he uses his two miniature ones, trying to hit him, you know. And meanwhile, Chop Top Bill Moseley is chasing Carolyn Williams. You know, takes like a piece of lamp and shocks him by like touching the electricity to the metal plate on his head, like, you know, as he's shaking, you know, because he's getting electrocuted. Then the cook, he's hiding under the table, and he gets that dead army guy body. And he's like, where's that good old fuck you, Charlie? The grenade. He still has a grenade. And like, I got the last laugh right here. And then the grandpa, he finally hits some. He finally throws the hammer and accidentally hits Leatherface on the head. Oh, and he falls down. And then the cook drops a grenade, and Dennis Hopper screams and like in victory. Ah! Then cuts away to Carol Williams, and you hear an explosion. So Dennis Hopper died. It's too bad. He finally won, and all of a sudden he dies. So Chop Top is still chasing Carol Williams on top of the so-called, I would say, like a tower. I don't know what it is, but it's daytime, you know, and she sees like the dead skeletal remains of her grandma holding a chainsaw. He's like, "What are you doing? Get away from her! No, Grandma, you killed her!" You know, she's already dead. Yeah, you killed her. She starts cutting her back up. She's trying to rev the chainsaw up, and she does. Cuts Bill Moseley. He falls back into back into the tunnel, and she starts screaming and starts doing the Leatherface dance. You know, to turn around, swinging the chainsaw around, and then that's the end of the movie. Pardon me. So yeah, Chainsaw Massacre 2. Really, I really do love the sequel. It's another great sequel. Tobe Hooper, he did a really good job. Once is I remember him saying, because when you want to do a sequel, he says, I cannot do. I think he said he couldn't make number 2 much more scarier than this film. So he said he cannot do better than the original film. He could not make it do better or make it scarier. So what he did is that he made a black comedy. He made it into a black comedy horror film, and I thought it really worked. You know, I like the comedy, the really black comedy, and they still got the gore and the violence. You know, there was even a deleted scene where Leatherface was killing this group of people in a garage, you know, like killing people left and right, you know. That was, well, even though you don't see a whole lot of blood and all that, but you get the idea. You saw like on the wall shadows, you know, he's killing people left and right. So yeah, I really do agree. You know, he made a black comedy horror film, and it really worked. You know. I really did enjoy this film. Like I said, it was released August 22nd, 1986. This time the budget was more expensive. It was like $4 million budget, and it only made like $8 million in the U.S. It was much more or less than the original film, but it still made money. Over half the budget. $8 million. I think was there anything else? I think of course it has a much more lower rating on IMDb. It has a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. That could have been higher. Even though the funny thing is, the original poster is that the original poster is them. That there was actually them copying. They're copying the poster from the Breakfast Club. You know, how the characters in Breakfast Club were like this, and they kind of like spoofed it as a poster in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. That was funny. It was so it made, even though it made very little money, than it did. It was doing it again, stuttering again. It gained a cult following. I thought that was nice. It has a 5.3 on Rotten Tomatoes. 5.3 on IMDb. I thought that could be higher. It has a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I love the cast did fine. The cast do a great job, especially Dennis Hopper, who I loved in this film. He did a great job. May he rest in peace. You know, I really miss Dennis Hopper. It's a shame he's no longer with us. I miss him. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it. Great directing, good cast. I don't find any problems with it. A great solid sequel. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and stay tuned for part 3 later.